Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. When it was announced that former WWE star Andrade, who was only announced the other week, would be doing his first tell-all interview with Lucha Libre Online, many people expected the same sort of stories we've heard from other former WWE star chats with Chris Jericho podcasts. But this one was very different. Andrade spoke about a variety of topics, including his multi-million-dollar earnings, where he was getting about $3 million a year, being cleared to wrestle in November, but creative having nothing for him, how there are a lot of talent backstage who are unhappy with their positions, but won't speak up about them, and even that Angel Garza was told to cut his hair because he was in line for a push that never happened. But the most significant stuff came from questions about his relationship with Charlotte Flair. Andrade said there are a lot of backstage problems between Flair and some other members of the women's roster in WWE, claiming that there is a lot of jealousy towards her. He said, "They look at her as just the daughter of Ric Flair. I know she's a good wrestler and she has earned her spot in WWE. There is a lot of jealousy. After matches, a lot of people say she works stiff." He also added that some of the talent backstage can't handle things like their time being cut, even though only 3 or 4 can wrestle for 20 minutes, and that a lot of them complain about Flair getting the opportunities. Full disclosure, I complain a lot about that too. Asuka, Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler. Surely there's more than 3. Perhaps far more damaging, though, is that Andrade revealed a member of the women's roster in WWE took a photo of Charlotte Flair changing in the locker room without her consent. He said, "We know who, but Flair didn't want to say anything and WWE didn't know about it." As the host of the interview, Hugo Savanovich, pointed out, that is a federal crime. Andrade also took issue with the doctor backstage in WWE who flagged him for violating the wellness policy last year, and is now claiming that same doctor is part of the reason why Charlotte Flair isn't on the WrestleMania card anymore. According to Andrade, it wasn't her positive COVID test that got her removed, but a misdiagnosis from the doctor that Charlotte was pregnant. Andrade says that Flair took her own tests at home, which all came up negative. But WWE pulled her from all her storylines because they believed the doctor. Andrade adds that they have not been given an apology once they proved that she wasn't pregnant, and that the doctor simply told them again that she was. Apparently, according to Andrade, this isn't the first time it's happened in WWE, as a few other women have had this same experience. Andrade adds that there are other reasons for Flair being pulled from WrestleMania, but wants to keep them quiet, as it could affect her stance in the company. In a statement to Alex McCarthy of TalkSport and Wrestling Daily, Charlotte Flair's team said what Andrade said about the pregnancy test in today's interview is true, but a significant amount of context is lost in translation, and we'd like to clear that up as best we can. A few weeks ago, Charlotte received a call from WWE Medical telling her that her HCG levels had come back high and she was being medically suspended for pregnancy. That day, she took several home tests that all came back negative. A few days later, blood work and ultrasound confirmed there was no pregnancy. This was before any issues with COVID. She is currently medically clear. This put a lot in context for her, mainly how small a woman's career window is. The men are able to work well into their 50s, while the women are seen as older in their early 30s even. For an athlete in her prime, these years mean everything. Now here's a message from me, back in better times, when I was your Jam That champion. Before we get on with the rest of the episode, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to this video's sponsor, Ridge. The Ridge have redefined the wallet, creating a minimalist card holder for up to 12 cards with additional room for all your money. In a compact design to easily fit in your front pocket. Because you can't wear pajamas forever, and you should really shower now too. It's been 6 weeks, me. Ridge wallets are available in 30 different colors and styles, including burnt titanium, title of your backyard tag team, and has RFID blocking technology to protect your card cards from digital pickpockets. And with over 40,000 5-star reviews, a 45-day trial period, and a lifetime warranty, this could be the last wallet you ever have to buy. So replace your old wallet full of useless clutter like outdated wrestling stickers and my loyalty card for your mum, she's gone digital now, with the Ridge wallet, where if you go to our link ridge.com/WrestleTalk and use the code WrestleTalk, you'll get 10% off and free worldwide shipping and returns. Ridge first sponsored us all the way back in 2019, where they sent us a bunch of wallets to try out, and we've switched over completely since. It's a small change that makes a lot of difference. I didn't realize how big my wallet was in my pocket with my phone until I switched to this little design here. It's so beautifully minimalist. So please support WrestleTalk and at least check out the Ridge wallets by using our link ridge.com/WrestleTalk below. And if you like what you see, use the code WrestleTalk for 10% off. Support WrestleTalk. Support your money. Thank you, former Jam That Champion Mr. Davis. I will regain the championship one day. I'm healed. But first, I must save my kawaii face in my hair versus points match against Luke Owen at WrestleJamia. Subscribe, enable notifications to always on to know when that goes live first. But now it's time to review the WrestleMania Go Home Raw in about 5 minutes. The show opened on the Hurt Business coming out to the ring in full force, looking awesome all back together again wearing their suits. It's not just the Mastermind MVP and the WWE Champion Bobby Lashley, it's the former tag team champions Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, all together as an unstoppable, incredibly badass unit at the top of Monday nights. So they broke them up. Just as I feared several weeks ago when Cedric and Shelton weren't being used in Lashley's segments, WWE never cared about the Hurt Business. They care about Bobby being a Greek god. That ass. So because Cedric and Shelton lost in a handicap match against Drew the previous week and totally unceremoniously lost the tag titles the week before that, MVP and Lashley threw them out the group and declared the Hurt Business is over, which was solidified later on when Bobby squashed Shelton in a singles match. They broke up the Hurt Business, a faction that was more than the sum of their parts, my favourite thing about Raw for the last year, and a huge reason why Lashley's title reign had so much potential barely 2 weeks out from WrestleMania, when, surely, you want as many heel minions as possible for McIntyre to go through, to either make his victory more impressive while he overcame the odds, or his loss justified. So why? Almost aware of their own meme of disappointment, WWE revealed Baron Corbin to be why. More on that later. The other night-long storyline was Lashley putting a bounty on Drew's head. Anyone who takes him out will get his title shot against Bobby at WrestleMania. Drew spent the night storming around backstage asking people if they were going to do it, where mostly their response was variations on, nah, I don't actually care about the WWE title, mate. I'm facing Shane McMahon, or I'm facing Sheamus, or I'm facing The New Day. Because heaven forbid someone have 2 simultaneous storylines. More on that later. Sheamus, meanwhile, who would surely be a number 1 guy to take out Drew considering their recent feud, was too busy continuing the Sheamus Renaissance with the match that arguably began his tear of in-ring form last November, him versus Riddle. They had a good match as you'd expect, with a white noise on the apron, which Sheamus eked out a victory, lazily setting up a US title match between them at WrestleMania. Riddle seemed to care in the post-match, doing a big shouty face, but it's nothing a bit of the drugs won't fix. He spent the rest of the night inconsistently goofy backstage, including one actually genuinely amazing bit where he seemingly forgot his line to Asuka, possibly because he was about to tell a Japanese people sure are shorter than the average Western people's height joke, and just walked off like my uncle at a party he's just discovered is a bit more woke than he would have liked. But Riddle didn't even walk. He scooted away from controversy. If only his lawyer thought of that technique last year. And one of the most painful mid-card Mania feuds I can remember, the latest segment in Braun Strowman vs. Shane McMahon, saw Shane expose Braun's difficulties at school, showing a fake report card with all D's, flanked by Elias and Jackson Riker. Oh my god, no, dear god. Run, Elias and Jackson Riker. It's Shane's new mid-card of evil. Nothing can escape the pull of Shane McMahon's
Mid-card vortex!
At least that's the only mid-card vortex we'll get on this show. Shane is a boring promo. Braun squashed Jackson Riker with choo-choo sound effects. I turned 33 yesterday, so I now feel 23 years too old for this. Wish me a happy birthday in the comments down below. Braun then made it a steel cage match between them at Mania because he presumably forgot to say Hell in a Cell. The Miz and John Morrison debuted the music video for their new Bad Bunny diss track, Hey Hey, Hop Hop. I'm ashamed to say I laughed at this more than I should have. Morrison has built up a really weird comedic presence. Bad Bunny laid out the heels afterwards and said the word bitch. Because it's serious. Randy Orton is also serious, fighting a man who just came back from being burnt alive. And Alexa Bliss said, he'll die at WrestleMania, with The Fiend on the swing next to her. This needs to be a cinematic match. The New Day hosted AJ Styles and Omos in a games night where Omos refused to play charades and Pictionary, but didn't mind doing a modelling photo shoot for H&M. This turned into AJ versus Woods, which Styles lost via DQ when Omos got physical, throwing Kofi over the barricade and laying out Xavier in the ring. He tried to finish serious, but the feud still feels like throwaway comedy. Naomi beat Shayna Baszler because Lana threw Nia Jax into Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke at ringside to set up a match at WWE. I don't care. Rhea Ripley is not ready for Asuka. Oh no, wait, she totally is. She threw a table in her face. But how will the WrestleMania opponents coexist when they have to face Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler on Raw next week? I don't know. Maybe watch SmackDown, where Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair are doing the exact same storyline. Great Khali, RVD and Kane are going into the Hall of Fame 2021, along with Eric Bischoff and Molly Holly, and the main event saw Ricochet step up to face Drew and then get thrown around loads. It was very good action for the 2 minutes they were given, and then McIntyre beat Ali right after, because that's how WWE can make sure hardcore fans won't boo Drew at Mania. Book him to beat all their favourite wrestlers in a row. Lashley came out for a brawl to close the show, and who should be his backup? Not their excellent Hurt Business faction, but their original mid-card of evil leader, SmackDown's Baron Corbin. Presumably in the Wild Card crossover invitational 3 times a year, but only when the moon is at half crescent, whack-bat rule. Not even the main event program on Raw can escape the pull of
Baron Corbin's mid-card vortex.
It's classic WWE anti-booking. Oh no, we've stumbled onto a hot act with momentum with the Hurt Business. But rather than go with that, they stick to the plan. Drew winning in front of fans at Mania and getting cheered. So they need to flatten out Bobby's coolness as much as possible, take away his badass faction and replace them with Corbin. It's actually genius in an incredibly depressing way. What did you think of Raw? Let me know in the comments down below, and vote in a poll on a poll match on the community tab, where 87% of you voted for they actually broke up the Hurt Business 2 weeks from Mania. Often when I'm away from wrestling for a week, I come back with fresh, naive eyes, and I enjoy WWE more than I usually do. It's the holiday ratings bump. But this episode was so bad, so long, with terrible booking decisions, I absolutely hated it, and that everything is this lackluster 2 weeks out from Mania makes it worse. This week's Raw is 1 out of 5. Luke and I are going to be diving into that even more on the WrestleTalk podcast today. Click the eye above my head to subscribe now. What's coming up, Luke?
Raw was bad.
I hate you, Luke. You tried to explode me. Click the video on the right now to watch the full Raw podcast review on what are the 10 best WrestleMania stages of all time. Click the video below that for Adam Blompier's latest list. I've been Mr. Davis. Jam that jam.